Our season could be over. We know that only one team is going to make it out of there tomorrow, and we played the elimination game last game. It wasn't Game 7, but it was an elimination game. So I mean, it's the same approach. Just go out there and keep our season alive.
Well, no secret. For the most part, the Blazers go as their backcourt goes. Dame Lillard and C.J. McCollum's numbers, not surprisingly, are better across the board in wins versus losses in this series so far. How important is it, stating the obvious, that these two play well on the road in Denver?
It's going to be very important because these two are the team's best players and they're also the team's leaders. And teams, a lot of times in these situations, will follow their leaders, and especially in the Game 7. There's going to be a lot of nervous energy. A lot of guys haven't been in the situation before, and you're on the road. So these role players, they don't have the benefit of saying, hey, we can play off the crowd. The crowd is going to be against you. So when you have Dame and you have CJ, two great competitors, two great leaders, and on top of that, two guys that got you into this Game 7 by combining for 62 in Game 6, 30 from McCollum, 32 for CJ, and both guys shot over 48% from the field. Those are the type of numbers they're going to need. This backcourt is going to have to explode. They're going to have to make sure they keep guys calm if Denver goes on a run. Then at the same time, they're going to have to go out there, they're going to have to hit big shots, and they're going to have to be clutch. And the good news for Portland is both of these guys are capable of that. Either guy can get his own shot from anywhere on the court. And we remember just a couple weeks ago how Dame ended that series against OKC, big-time step-back three over Paul George, the nice quick wave to Westbrook to let him know it was bye-bye time. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the same thing here. Dame has no fear. He's very calm. He's very cool and collective in these type of moments, and he feels comfortable in this type of environment.
That's if they're close at the end of the game. We know we can hit that, but they got to stay close. They got to be in the game for that to happen. What are the other priorities for Portland?
Well, I think, collectively they have to do it by committee. And I think Dame and C.J. McCollum have to score somewhere between 55 to 60 points collectively for them, just from the backcourt alone, to have a realistic shot at winning the Game 7 on the road. However, you look at a guy like Rodney Hood and what
great in Game 6.
He is great. He's a shot maker. He's had big moments in his playoffs. He's kind of reinvented himself.
This is the Rodney Hood that the Cavaliers were hoping to get when they brought him in last year.
Absolutely.
It's all good in the hood.
Yeah, man. He fits in like glove, made the seamless transition to the Blazers. I was wondering, where were they going to plug him? And they found exactly where to put him. I think Coach Stotts needs to get more credit on how he's been able to get him and Cantor and those guys right into the thick of things right before the playoffs.
Those have been huge pickups for Neil O'Shea. Meanwhile, the Nuggets are trying to become the first team to reach the conference finals after missing the playoffs entirely the year before, since the Oklahoma City Thunder back in 2016. What has to happen for them to reach the Final Four?
Oh, no, you shoot for it.
Oh, you want me to shoot for it? Well, listen, I just talked about how great the Denver's backcourt was, right? Well, guess what? If the Nuggets are going to advance, they have to throw the kitchen sink at Denver's backcourt. They have to go out there and stop these guys. They have to go out there and throw double teams at them, throw different looks at them in the pick and roll setting. They have to do the opposite of what Houston did to the Splash Brothers last night. Throw a lot of different defenses out there. I watched that game last night. I didn't think Houston did enough to disrupt the Splash Brothers and make other guys beat them. That's what I think Denver has to do on their home court. Throw some traps. Sometimes stay with the trap. Sometimes in a one-on-one ISO situation, just rover. What I mean by rover is just come off of a random defender and run at Dame Lillard, get the ball out of his hands. Denver has to impact that backcourt, make those guys feel like they can't get their own and they have to make passes to their teammates, and then you'll live with the results of that. But I think that's key for Denver. Get the ball out of Lillard and McCollum's hands.
I think so much has been said about Joker and what he's been able to bring to the table, a reaction offense by Coach Malone. But Murray is the guy that I think that has to step up in a major way, and I think he's the unsung hero in these playoffs, particularly in the Game 7, which he stepped up in a major way versus the San Antonio Spurs, hitting timely shot after shot, moments that are be kind of blasted and posted, in that organization history for years to come. And I think that he's a gamer. I think he lives for those moments, even though he's young, relatively young, but he's young enough not to know any better.
Right.
He's like, you know what, this is a
first go-around.
Yeah, this is my first go-around, great stage, great platform to me to capitalize on this opportunity.
He's averaged nearly 25 a game in this series so far. On the way, beaten up but not yet broken. The Warriors are back in the conference finals for the 5th straight year. How they pulled it off and what's left to clean up in Houston.
Houston, we got a problem.
To clinch their 5th consecutive trip to the Western Conference Finals. Nene lost it. Looney takes advantage. Nice feed ahead. And Cook with the layup. Green alley-up, and Bell throws it down. Golden State's bench playing well here in the first half.
We've all heard that all year about our bench isn't as strong, and obviously we're not as deep. Everyone said that. Tonight, everyone came off that bench, proved everybody wrong. And, it couldn't happen at a better time for us.
Curry to Jerebko. Jerebko back to Livingston, throws it down. The Golden State bench with a huge impact.
Steve Kerr has got to be ecstatic about the job. Everybody he's called upon.
Just an amazing night from a group of guys who have not played this entire series. Obviously, injuries forced us to use the bench. I probably should have used them earlier. We talk about strength in numbers. Those guys were amazing and really a huge factor in the win.
Iguodala, three-pointer. That's good. Andre Iguodala with 17. That's his fifth three-pointer.
It's funny because everybody, even Shump talk about it all the time. You say, make the other guys beat you. Iguodala, how many threes he hit? 5 out of 8. You say, make the other guys beat you, and they sure did that.
Cook, pull-up shot. That won't go. Looney on the follow. Kevon Looney continues to impress.
I'm so proud of Kevon. You saw tonight his ability to score around the basket, to defend guards, and to rebound. It's amazing, and I can't sing his praises enough. He was a real difference maker for us in the series.
Out to Green. Shot blocked by Looney. Rebound Curry, and they have to foul right away.
What about the role players? The supporting cast. Andre Iguodala knocks down shots, makes plays. Kevon Looney, stellar job. Sean Livingston off the bench. Quinn Cook, just solid minutes. It's a great job collectively.
Another remarkable story in the ongoing history of this Warriors run. The bench was great. Klay Thompson was amazing at both ends of the floor. Steph Curry had 33 in the second half after a scoreless first half. So many storylines, but one that gained some traction had to do with Steph getting up shots at Toyota Center between games. And depending on which version you believe, Chris Paul may have arranged to keep Curry off the court, which explains this reaction from Draymond Green after the closeout. That was Draymond Green saying, kick me off the court again. Now the Houston Chronicle followed up on that story, and according to the Rockets, this basically never happened, that the two did meet at Toyota Center during the series, but it was days before, and they had a perfectly pleasant interaction. I don't know. Do you make anything of this? What is this?
I think it was more, fuel to put on the fire that those guys needed to go out there and put on that demonstration, what you saw. And if you're the Houston Rockets, this loss is going to hurt a little bit more for numerous reasons. That right there, because that's trending today as you're trying to, exit and get on your respective flight or wherever you headed. But also, no Kevin Durant. I mean, arguably the best player on the planet, he goes down, and all of a sudden you have these guys that you like, you know what, they have a lack of depth on their bench, and we're able to, win this game. And look, Steph Curry's been held in, check for some time, but I think that he was being selfless. Andre Iguodala, he was being selfless. But when they had to go into their bag of tricks and go out there and make shots and do all the things that was necessary to get a quality win on the road, that's exactly what they did.
And that was after the arguments from Rockets fans for the better part of a year of, what if we'd had Chris Paul for Game 7? Well, you had people, and they didn't have Kevin Durant. It still worked out in their favor.
Well, I have good news for Chris Paul. He didn't want to let Steph Curry on the court, and the good news is he has the court all to himself for the rest of the summer. So, so I got good news for CP3. It's your court. No one's going to be fighting for you to get on it right now. It's all yours. But as far as moving forward, that was an argument I heard a lot last year. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I didn't put too much stock into it because you go out there, you got to play with the guys you have. And then we see this year that, okay, Golden State had every reason to make the same excuses that Houston made last year. Mm-hmm. They went out there without Kevin Durant, without Boogie Cousins. They got it done. It's a different type of culture over there in Golden State. It's a different type of belief, and I'm still looking for the James Harden signature playoff series. I've seen signature playoff series from Dame Lillard, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. James is a superstar that has not had a playoff signature moment. Can you think of James' big-time signature moment? A series
fair.
where you say, man, James took it over. He pushed them, got them to the promised land.
That is fair.
I was hoping it was this one.
Well, grand opening, grand closing. It's not going to be this one.
Rockets general manager Daryl Morey quoted The Wire, the TV show. You come at the king, you best not miss. And that's
What?
exactly what happened.
Huh?
When the summer began after Game 6, the Rockets and their owner tried to find perspective.
I can promise you we're going to win some championships with James Harden, okay? Because we're not going to sit here. We will go to battle every year. We're going to have a strong off season, and we're going to do whatever we can do to be a better team, okay? We are not going to sit on our hands. I can promise you that.
I know what we need to do. I know exactly what we need to do. Just we'll figure it out this summer.
I am dying to know what he meant by that.
Listen, there's not
What do
much.
you got?
There's not much they can do because when you look at how the salaries Capella got paid this summer, then you look at
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, he has a big number
Massive contract.
moving forward. James Harden is arguably one of the better players in this league, and he deservedly so has a big-time number. They don't have a lot of free agent dollars. So I'm not really sure how they're going to turn this thing around. I think they're just going to have to collectively get better within. I think it's going to have to be a schematics change. And maybe you stay away from the analytics game that they're playing now where they say, hey, we just want threes, free throws, and layups. Maybe the key to it is unleashing James Harden even more and saying, hey, we're going to let James Harden play a little bit more in the post. We're going to let him take a lot of those mid-range jumpers because we played against him in OKC. He used to hit those shots.
Yeah.
He used to post up. So I think that if you use James Harden in a more dynamic way, this team becomes less predictable and they become a more dangerous animal.
What do you think he meant by that? I know what's the matter. I know what needs fixing.
I know exactly what he meant by that.
Please share.
I'm not. I'm going to wait till this summer.
You're not going to tell either.
I'm going to wait till this summer.
Will someone please tell me?
That's because you don't know just like James don't know. You don't have the answer, James don't have the answer.
I know exactly what he meant by the same thing.
You don't have the answers, man.
Tell me during the break, please.
Nobody has the answers.
I'm still
Nobody
trying to figure
knows.
it out. Still to come, Shaq's telling stories, in this case about the oop heard around the world.
Oh, man, this the one where Roe got the gold robe on? Hey, Roe, where you find that gold robe at, man? Where they selling solid gold robes?
For soccer.